Hello children, in the previous class I told about the forms of water, evaporation, condensation. So what are the three forms of water? Solid form, liquid form, gaseous form. Solid form of water is ice, liquid form of water is water and gaseous form of water is water vapor. Okay, ice is the solid form of water is in liquid form and water vapor is the gaseous form of water. Evaporation, the process of changing water into water vapor is called evaporation. Condensation, the process of changing water vapor into water is called condensation. So today we are going to learn about the formation of clouds and rain. Okay children, so due to the heat of the sunlight, the ground gets heat and also the water in a water bodies also gets heat and changes into water vapor by the process of evaporation. By the process of evaporation. What is evaporation? The process of changing water into water vapor. So here the water changed into water vapor now due to the heat of the sun. So that is a evaporation. And the water vapor rises up into the atmosphere. So as we move away from the surface of the earth, the air becomes very cool. So when this water vapor contact with the cool air at higher levels, means after reaching higher levels, it contact with the cool air and then condenses and form as a small water droplets. Small water droplets. Condensation means what? The process of changing water vapor into water is called a condensation. Okay children, with the heat of the sunlight, the water changes into water vapor by the process of evaporation in a water bodies. Yes, and after reaching higher levels, when it contact with the cool air, this water vapor condenses and form as a water droplets. Means here water vapor changes into water. So it is called as it is by the process of condensation. Okay children. So here these water droplets remain floating in the sky only. Remain floating in the sky and appear like a cloud. Appear as a cloud. Did you understand? By the process of condensation, the water vapor changes into water drops and form as a cloud. Okay children, so in a kitchen also we can observe this. So take a vessel, fill with the water, heat the water on a stove. Okay children, so after some time you can observe the water vapor coming from the bowl. Now close the bowl with the lid. Close the bowl with the lid. After cooling, you take the lid. Take out the lid. You can observe the water drops on the inner surface of the lid. How these water drops are formed? How? Means here, when the water is hot, the water, when we are boiling water, the water changed into water vapor. So that water vapor attached to the lid. After cooling, the water vapor changed into water. So that water, when we open the lid, we observed. As children, so that is. So here, in a hot sun, the water from the water bodies changes into water vapor and when it gets cool, it forms as a water. Here also, when we boiled water, the water changed into water vapor and after cooling, the water vapor changed into water. So we observed the small clouds in the kitchen and also in the atmosphere. Okay? Next. How do we get rains? How do we get rains? So here, clouds are forming in the sky. Clouds are forming in the sky. So these clouds form on the surface of the water bodies. Water bodies, they do not stay. They do not stay on the water bodies. They move from the water bodies to the land. Means they move from one place to another place in the direction of the wind. In the direction of the wind. For example, the winds are moving towards the south. So the clouds also move towards the south along with the winds. Okay children. So as more clouds gather together, as more clouds come together, they become heavy with the water vapor. They become heavy with the water vapor. So they move from higher levels to the down, means towards the earth. They move, means the clouds move at higher levels only. But when they become heavy, they move towards the earth's surface. They move towards the surface of the earth. So when these clouds contact with the cool air, the clouds also become cool. Okay children. So when a cool air is present in the atmosphere, the clouds also become cool. Did you understand? Next. So we all know that without clouds it is not possible to get rains. Yes children, without clouds it will not be possible to get rains. All clouds do not give us rains. All clouds do not give us rains. Some clouds cause rains. Some clouds cause rains. So some changes we observe before rains. Some changes we can observe in the clouds. Some changes we can observe in the clouds before cause rains. Before cause rains. So what are the changes we observe? What are the changes? So the clouds move at higher levels. The clouds move at higher levels. So when they contact with the cool air, the small water droplets and condenses and form as a big water droplets. When the clouds contact with the cool air, these small water droplets condense and form as a big water droplets. So when due to the formation of the big water droplets, means the size of the water droplets increase now. So due to the increasing of due to the size of the water droplets, the clouds become heavy. The clouds become heavy and they move towards the earth's surface. They move towards the earth's surface. So here, before getting rains, we observe changes in the sky. What are the changes? The clouds become very dark. The clouds become very dark, and that means the color of the clouds changes into, means white to grey color, and we get the feeling of, means that gives us a feeling of rains, feeling of dark clouds, and we get rains. Before rains we get a cool breeze also. Excellent. So when the clouds become heavy with the big water droplets, it is very difficult for the clouds to hold for a long time. Then the water drops begin to fall. So this is called as a rain. Did you understand? The clouds move from one place to another place and at higher levels. So when these clouds are moving at higher levels, cool breeze also there. So when the clouds contact with the cool breeze, the small water droplets condense and form as a big water droplets. So when the size of the droplets increased, the clouds also become heavy. So these clouds when they become heavy, they move towards the surface of the earth. And the color of the cloud changes from white to grey color. White to grey color, and we observe it is very dark. Before rain, we observe the cloud, we observe the sky, it is very dark. It is cloudy. Yes, and we get the cool breeze. Yes, children. So here, due to the big water droplets, and the clouds are heavy, means the clouds do not hold the water droplets. So that's why they move towards the surface of the earth and the water drops begin to fall. Okay children, this is known as a rain. Okay, when the size of the water drops increases, it is very difficult to the cloud to hold. Okay, so that's why the water drops begin to fall. So this is called as a rain. Okay children, and before raining, clouds comes towards the surface of the earth and we get cool breeze. Yes children, and next, so in a very cold conditions, these water drops changes into crystals of ice. The water drops in a cold conditions in winter season. Yes children, so in a winter season it is very cool. So these water drops solidify as a crystals, means changes into crystals of ice and that fall as a snow. Sometimes the big water drops solidify as the crystals of ice, and fall as a pieces of ice is called as a hailstones. Hailstones means రాళ్ళ వర్షం అంటారు కదా. Yes, so రాళ్ళ వర్షం. So here in a winter season means in a very cold conditions, the water droplets form as a crystals of ice and fall as a snow. Okay, next, big water drops solidify as the crystals of ice. Solidify means గట్టిగా అయిపోతుంది. Okay, crystals of ice and fall as a pieces of small stones, small pieces of ice, that is called as a hailstones. Okay, next, generally we get rains in a June to September. In which month, during which months we get the rains? June to September. So in that, during this season, the clouds move in the direction of the winds, means that are blowing from the western side. So here, east, west, north, south. Okay children, so during the months of June to September, the clouds move in the direction of winds, blowing from the western side. These are called as a southwest monsoons. These rains are called as a southwest monsoons. Okay children, next, in the month of November and December, we get the rains. In this season, the clouds move in the direction of the winds blowing from the eastern side. These rains are called northeast monsoons. Northeast monsoons. Okay children, So in which season we get? Means in which months we get the rains? June to September and November and December. November and December. So June to September, the clouds move in the direction of the winds blowing from western side. Blowing from western side. These winds are called as southwest monsoons. Okay, next in the month of November and December, the clouds move in the direction of the winds blowing from eastern side. That winds are called as northeast monsoons. Northeast monsoons. So nowadays we are not getting timely rains, and the seasons also we are not getting in a correct timings, in a correct seasons. As children, so means in a winter season that starts in the month of November. Yes, November. But nowadays we are getting the winter season in the months of December. In the month of December or the ending of November, like that. As children, and we are not getting timely rains also. In the month of June we are not at all getting rains. Yes, after June or after June or July, we are getting the rains, heavy rains. As children. And next. So what is water cycle? What is the next one? Water cycle. So water cycle. So the water gets heat. The water gets heat on the ground and in a water bodies, and that changes into water vapor and rises up and condenses and form as a water droplets. These water droplets condenses and form as a big water droplets. These big water droplets combine form as a cloud. These clouds give us rains. Clouds give us rains. Okay, children. So here the rainwater from the rainfall runs down as a small streams. These small streams join together and form as a big streams. And this big streams flow down to the rivers. And rivers join with the seas. Seas join with the oceans. So like that, the rainwater from the streams, it joins with the rivers to seas, seas to oceans. At last, the rainwater again entering into the oceans only, mixing with the ocean water. Means the rainwater is a pure water, but it is mixing in the ocean and becoming as a salt water. Is it useful? No, it is not useful. Okay, children. Again, due to the heat of the sun, the water gets heat in a water bodies, evaporates and condenses and form as a cloud. And that give us rains, and again they fall into the water bodies only. They fall on the ground and mixes in the water bodies. So like that, again due to the heat of the sun, the water evaporates and forms as a cloud and give us rain. And again this rainwater gets heat and evaporates and form as a cloud. Means it is like a cycle now. It is like a cycle. So this is called as a water cycle. It is a continuous process. Means here the circulation of water into water vapor by the process of evaporation, and water vapor changes into water. Okay, or water vapor changes into cloud, and cloud to rain by the process of condensation is known as a water cycle. So what is water cycle? The circulation of water circulation of water into water vapor by evaporation, water vapor to clouds, cloud to rain by the condensation is known as a water cycle. Okay children, so here the cycle, this cycle of evaporation and condensation takes place continuously in nature. It is a continuous process. Okay children, so nowadays we are not getting timely rains and the seasons also not changing in time. Yes, so what is the reason? Nowadays we are cutting the trees. And deforestation. Deforestation means what? We are destructing the forest. To construct the houses or to construct the factories, to construct the industries. And some gases also releasing from the factories, vehicles. Yes, children. So due to these reasons, the temperature is increasing. On the earth. So there is no cool air in the atmosphere. So the clouds become cool due to the cool air only. Yes, Nana? The clouds become cool by the presence of cool air. But there is no cool air. The temperature is heavy. The temperature is more in the atmosphere. So how the clouds become cool? Yes, children. So that's why we are not getting timely rains. And we are getting, if we get rains that are heavy, we may get heavy rains, or sometimes we may not get rains also, even little rains also. Chinna vaanam kuda manaki padadu. Means it leads to the floods or droughts. If we get heavy rainfall, it causes the floods, and if we don't get the rains, it causes drought. Drought means endipodu mottam. Kada? So these are the means global warming due to the deforestation and pollution. The temperature is increasing on the earth. This is the global warming. Okay children, did you understand up to here how clouds are formed and how do we get rains? Yes? Okay children.